What's up guys, welcome back to another episode. In today's video we will be discussing what's on everybody's mind in the chess world, that is chess cheating, and the discussion between Hikaru Nakamura and Vladimir Kramnik. As we have mentioned in the previous video, you know my reaction to that, my initial reaction, you know my opinion, and if you don't know it, then you should check that video out. In today's video, I just want to take you through the timeline of what has happened since, because every single day, every single hour, there's new pieces of information that both of these players are bringing to the table. Very engaging discussion, but before we get into that, I want to give you guys a big announcement. We do have merch. Finally, we have merch, and I've been teasing that, and Fabi has been teasing that as well via the merch that he's been wearing during competition. But we do have merch, and let me just give you guys a bit of a preview of what we're selling. I do believe that we have a pretty comprehensive line of products. We have more than 40 products in our shop. We have men's, women's, and of course we have mugs as well. Everybody's favorite. If you want to get a mug, you can check it out right here. If you go to the men's section, as you can see, we have a bunch of t-shirts. We're quite happy with the designs. My personal favorite has to be the classic logo. This one, I know Fabi's personal favorite is the Bughouse with the boys tee. He has been sporting that during the Singfield Cup, during the Grand Chess Tour, Grand Chess Tour Rapid and Blitz as well. Check it out. I'm going to link in the description below c-squared.shop. Check it out and see if you like anything. Now, as you probably already know, Vladimir has this blog on chess.com in which he posts his thoughts, and it's really dedicated only to chess cheating for a good reason. Again, we do believe that there is a problem at C-Squared. We've been discussing chess cheating for a very long time. It's a serious problem. Now, I don't really like the way he's handling it in this particular fashion, accusing or not accusing, as we will understand in just a few minutes. He specifically says that he has not accused Hikaru. At the same time, when you're posting and saying that this streak is interesting, quote unquote, about Hikaru's 45, I believe, and a half out of 46, and after that, following it up with what has happened since, as we will see in just a second, you're obviously, making a point. But enough of that. We're not going to say that he's accusing anybody. We're just trying to understand the dynamic between the two players, between the two camps, and see exactly what has happened in the meantime. Now, I believe we should start somewhere around here at some point. Great example for cheaters. This is a video. Vladimir is linking us to a video of a person named Baron Tal, who is a grandmaster, has acknowledged his cheating many years ago. This was about 6 years back, something along those lines. And basically he's giving an example as great example for cheaters. Yes, you should do this. You should acknowledge the fact that you have cheated. Okay, very cool. Previously, he also linked a Levitov chess video, and this was particularly for a Russian-speaking audience, because this video was a discussion between Ilya Levitov and a supposed cheater. And I've tried to understand exactly, I don't speak Russian, but I did try to understand using the subtitles on YouTube. I tried to understand what they were discussing about, and I made a few points, and I'm going to try to relay those to you.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые любители шахмат и все нам сочувствующие. Меня зовут Илья Левитов.
Basically, right now he introduces his discussion, the topic of discussion as well. He will be speaking with a professed cheater. The professed cheater's name is Nikita. Now, Nikita comes on, and the first initial point comes at 3 minutes and 13 seconds when he says he's not regretting his actions.
Если профессионалы читерят и не скрывают этого, то почему любителям это запрещено?
Why do professionals do it and don't hide it? Then why are amateurs forbidden? He says. This is Nikita the cheater. Nikita is about 1700, as we will learn in the next few minutes. He's a professed cheater. Once again, one thing that he does throughout this video is he says that he does not cheat in money events. So he does not cheat to gain financially from it. He just wants, as you will understand in just a few minutes, that he wants to improve. He cheats to improve. Basically, he believes that by working with the engine during the games that he's playing, he believes that that's going to give him a deeper insight about the position. This is a very flawed logic, I have to say. It doesn't work like that. Chess does not work like that. Do not cheat. Kids, don't cheat. It's really, really bad for you. It's really bad for your understanding. Your brain gets lazy. We do not condone that. Do not cheat. All right. That's at 3 minutes. Very interesting points. He accepts his mistake, but does not regret his decision. All right. Smart cheating. You need to have at least some level. Otherwise, you will get caught. So basically what he means by that, by smart cheating, is that you cannot make every single move that is proposed by the engine, because then immediately the platform will catch you, which makes a lot of sense. You have to choose the moments where you want to cheat. You have to spot those critical moments and then get the suggestion of the engine at that correct particular moment in the game. All right, at 9:14 is when he makes the most important point of this discussion, when he mentions the way he cheats.
chessvision.ai.
There it is. Boom. Mm-hmm. So just to preface it, he mentions this application, chessvision.ai.
chessvision.ai. Это, я так понимаю, нейросеть. Вы в нее фотографируете свою позицию или присылаете скриншот. То есть даже можно фотографировать с телефона на компьютер.
All right, so basically Chess.ai, what it does, it allows you, this application on your phone, to take a picture of a diagram, whether that's on your book, whether that's on your computer, and basically start analyzing with an engine, as we will see in just a second.
Нет, знаете, в Личесе есть функция анализировать партию.
Есть, знаю.
Вот, там можно поставить до 5 линий, просто вас перекидывает в это меню, сразу уже с подгруженной позиции в вашей партии.
All right, so basically this Chess AI is something that, by the way, got banned on chess.com, and I think, I'm not sure, but I do think that you can have this application connected to chess.com so that you can open in a new browser tab the position that you have on chess.com. This has been banned, according to Reddit recently, by chess.com. So you cannot have that application connected to your account anymore. And I think a lot of cheaters probably got directly affected by that. So this was the main point of this video that Kramnik was mentioning sometimes a few days ago. Again, chessvision.ai is the preferred method of this particular cheater to try to get an edge. The problem with that is that it's not easy, right? It really is not easy to do it, because at all times you have to have this application on your phone in your hand, take a picture, and then start analyzing with the engine of the critical moment, take a picture of the critical moment, analyze with the engine. That's not possible for a lot of players that have been accused of cheating, because very often you have streamers that are accused of cheating, and you cannot do this, right? You really cannot do this. Chessvision.ai, the way this guy does it, I just don't see how it can be possible for players that participate in money events. They have a couple of cameras on them. They're being watched at all times. So this one already, I'm not very convinced about this video. Let's move on to the next one. All right. Let's go to this one. Crazy to suspect or the opposite. New statistics. All of you gentlemen are waiting for next statistics. For Appetizer, statistics of the GOAT of online chess. Of course, he's referencing Hikaru, was checking his and Alireza Magnus from the beginning of the year. 3 minutes, 3+1 streaks without losing a game. Why those two, Alireza and Magnus? Because they are higher rated than Hikaru offline over the board, and both can't be considered weaker, at least according to the over the board play. True, yes, definitely not weaker. Maybe Alireza, but Magnus is definitely not weaker than Hikaru in over the board blitz. True, Nakamura enjoys beating weaker players like 20-0, which both Alireza and Magnus find meaningless, and searching for interesting opponents. Therefore, average rating of their opponents is higher, but quite comparable. That is true, and that is a very good point that Kramnik is bringing to the table. And fair play to him, because you could easily avoid mentioning this one, and I think it's a very important one because Hikaru, and he said that quite a few times since, he does handpick his opponents, especially when he tries to go on a streak, especially when he tries to break a record. So as you can see, he has his motives. Generally, Alireza nor Magnus stream this type of streaks. And by the way, they don't actually play that much just for the sake of it. They usually play Title Tuesdays, right? And in Title Tuesdays, it's much more difficult to do these streaks. For the simple fact that actually Title Tuesday is 3+1, so you do get an extra second. Hikaru's streaks are generally 3+0. And this is a very important point, I believe, because Hikaru very often flags his opponents. Without increment, he flags his opponents. He's just fast, and even in losing positions, sometimes he flags his opponents. He cannot do that in 3+1. That's why it's so much more difficult to score those type of streaks whenever you have increment. Anyway, let's keep going. 900 plus. This was Alireza Blitz games played this year. That's not a lot, by the way. The longest streak without losing is just 17. No single streak over 20. Okay, I can see how, yeah, that makes some sense. But again, Alireza is not really a streamer. Alireza doesn't really play as much just for the sake of playing. He plays usually Title Tuesdays, which are 3+1. Much more difficult to do a streak. Magnus, 1400 plus games. The longest streak without losing is 32. 10 streaks over 20 games without losing. Okay, decent. Hikaru, also Magnus plays a lot of Title Tuesdays. He doesn't really stream a lot. Maybe he streamed and I haven't seen it. I generally watch a lot of these things happen in real time, and I cannot remember Magnus playing a lot of online chess just for the sake of it. Hikaru, 3,800 plus games. The longest streak without losing is 79. Okay, that's very impressive indeed. The second longest, 63, in total of 37 streaks. I don't even know what this emoji is. What is this emoji? What is this emoji, guys? Can somebody... What is this emoji? Anyway, in total, 37 streaks without losing in 20 plus consecutive games. So, gentlemen, crazy to have doubts or not to examine. Just substitute the name to any other and the answer is clear. Main course, this was just the appetizer. Main course coming sometimes in a couple of hours. Very interesting, Vladimir, very interesting. All right, is this the main course? Sign the petition. I would assume this is the main course. I've looked through it and I will just give you the highlights. If you want to check it out yourself, once again, you can find most likely the link in the description, or I'm going to put it somewhere around here in one of those cards. Now, let's see what he says. All right.
If Hikaru or somebody else thinks that this is an accusation of cheating, then it's not me who is accusing, but mathematics, because it is statistics. It's a true statistics from the open source, and it was not meant to be an accusation, but something else, and I'm going to talk about it later.
Okay, so he makes his first point. It is not an accusation, but it's just mathematics. So if somebody believes that this is an accusation, it's not coming from Vladimir, it's coming from mathematics. Then he goes on to say that he wants to refute the army of bots and Hikaru fans. Sure, of course, makes some sense. And of course, makes his main point of this video, which is to give advice to chess.com to begin an investigation. And we will get back to that main point quite a few times in this video. At 7:30, at minute 7:30 is when he makes, let's say, his first big point of this new video. Let's take a look.
The probability, really lower and lower with each next performance, again mathematically, and only in this month, November, which hasn't finished yet, Hikaru had 5 similar performances.
So Hikaru has had in the month of November 5 streaks that Vladimir deems interesting. That is, let's say, his first new piece of the puzzle that he brings in this video. Later on, he goes on at minute 9 to sort of make, for the first time, his main point of the video.
Maybe the result of the checking will be, like that or like this, but you cannot leave such outrageous, performances without further check. And that is the only reason why I started this. And it has nothing to do with the name of a player. It happened to be Hikaru Nakamura. It could have been anyone else. There is nothing personal here. I neither have anything against Nakamura as a person, but I also don't have any, any problem, just because he's famous, or of course he's fantastic blitz player, that's for sure, no doubt. But it doesn't mean that he cannot be checked, and that if he has such non-standard, let's put it mildly, statistics, that he should be out of any investigation.
So basically, right now he says that chess.com needs to investigate, needs to keep a close eye on Hikaru. There is sort of a problem with this, and we will get to that in just a second. Actually, let's move on to minute 11 and 40.
I'm pretty sure they've never checked anyone.
Basically saying that chess.com has not checked anyone. And that's where I think Kramnik is very much in the wrong, because I do believe, and I have decent sources to back that up, I do believe that chess.com has a pretty thorough anti-cheating team behind all of the events, behind the platform. That team is engaged 24/7. I don't think they take any breaks. I think they have, once again, a very comprehensive system of trying to catch cheaters. And I do believe that they monitor every single player on the platform, especially their top players. So in this instance, I think Vladimir is wrong. Whether he knows it, whether he actually believes that chess.com is not investigating or not monitoring these top players, I'm not really sure. But I can tell you that they for sure are monitoring a lot.
So I had no other choice than to start going public. Was not actually my priority to do it publicly, but I had no choice.
So basically he says that he, and I think that was around minute 10, he did mention that he tried to reach out to chess.com a few times and did not get an answer. And that's why he is going public with his questioning. Okay, let's move on to minute 13. And this is, let's say, the big graphic. Hikaru's results on chess.com in the last 60 days. These are the streaks that he was mentioning earlier in the video.
Let me remind you that I think the absolute record of chess.com was 3,340. So it's like almost 300 elo points, higher than the than the best possible rating somebody ever had on chess.com. 300 is really a lot. Important, it's not played in 5 or 10 games, 46 games. It's a lot. It's a lot, so it means, okay, it's clearly, something to check. I'm convinced about it. And then let's go further. The second one, that one is the best, my favorite, I would say. Okay, the average rating 27-37, not that high. Still, it's, those players are not patzers, so to say. They can play chess, definitely. And the performance, I mean, Hikaru won all 55, I repeat, 55 games in a row.
All right, 55 out of 55. That is that is indeed very impressive, and we in fact discussed this in the previous episode. That was the streak that I believe I mentioned as well as being his highest streak in the past year. 55 out of 55, an average rating of his opponents of 27-37. Again, these are not FIDE ratings, these are chess.com ratings. I would say a lot of 2300s in real life over the board chess are 2700. So, Hikaru should beat those guys on a regular basis.
Of course, the idea is that all those
it is a pretty ridiculous streak. I'm not gonna lie. It's a great streak.
Games are in a row. So 55 out of 55. You cannot even count the performance because it's like goes to space. I mean, it's infinite, but if somebody thinks that making 55 out of 55 in a row is totally normal, even for Hikaru Nakamura, I would disagree.
Okay, sure. Of course, this is not normal. I mean, not totally normal, but I believe that it's achievable. Let's just put it that way. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility. At the same time, we're just kind of trying to understand where he's coming from. We're trying to understand where is Vladimir coming from. He does have a funny mention at around minute 16.
450. Very, very modest this time. Maybe not.
Okay.
450.
Okay.
29-49 average.
So he's discussing this one, 46 out of 48. This, in fact, happened after the first accusation. This was partially Hikaru's response. I can do it. I'm going to try to do it again. And he did it. He scored quite high, 46 out of 48, against an average rating of opponents, 29-49. His performers, 34-50. And Vladimir takes a little stab at that.
46 out of 48. And performance is only 3,450. Very, very modest this time. Maybe was not in very good form that day.
Very modest, was not in good form. Okay, that's pretty funny. I have to say that was pretty funny. All right, let's see what else do I have. Let's go to minute 20. This is minute 16. You can check this whole video by yourself if you really want to. I'm just trying to illustrate the main points of his appeal.
If it's okay, I'm fine with it, but only with the explanation, very clear based mathematical explanation. And so that has to be done, I believe. And so those, my friends, mathematicians, they told me, yes, well, the probability is, let's put it mildly, very low. So, okay, that is the situation, and chess.com just simply doesn't respond to it, doesn't care about it. I had no other choice than to make it public. Again, I really believe that if we are at least more or less serious about about the, fighting with this disease, which is cheating, we have to pay attention to it. We have to investigate such performance. Whoever have achieved it
must investigate, must check it. This is the main point that he makes throughout this video. He wants chess.com to investigate. And then he goes on to mention his petition.
It is very reasonable request from chess players to check very deeply with the mathematicians, and openly then explain, as chess.com has done it with Hans Niemann some time ago, a year or something ago. So they can do it, they did it already, so why not to respect chess players? Because I'm not the only one who has some, one kind of having questions about such performances. So it's just a respect of the players. It will show a goodwill and a real motivation of them to solve such matters, in general, to fight with the cheating, to show that they're checking it, that they're explaining us if yes or not, if not why. That would be perfectly enough for me.
All right, so that is basically his request for the petition. And this is the petition in discussion. We demand examination. I demand that Nakamura's abnormal results on chess.com, such as those, blah, blah, blah. We, the chess.com players, ask the administration of the platform to perform a detailed examination of Hikaru due to his recent numerous streaks of 40-plus games on the platform where he showed performances much above his rating, and publish the detailed report. So I think this is the main point. Publish the detailed report afterwards. The petition already has 1,139 signatures out of 1,500. There's probably a lot of trolls attached to this petition, as well, as we could see in the comments here. Hans says cheaters should speak for themselves. There must be a lot of people that simply just want to see the world burn, and they're signing this petition. At the same time, again, I have to say, I do believe that chess.com is very much on top of this in terms of investigation, if you might, and they don't just do that with Hikaru. They do it with all the top players. They probably do it with the whole site as a whole. They investigate anything that their systems are telling them that might be suspicious. And I'm sure some of Hikaru's performances have been deemed suspicious, and I'm sure they have been investigated by chess.com. At the same time, this is the petition. I'm not going to sign it. Again, I've already expressed my view on this subject and whether I think Hikaru is cheating or not in the previous episode. My overall take has not changed at all. I don't think Vladimir has brought any significant updates to the table. Again, just to recapitulate everything that we've been discussing in this episode. So it started off with that video that he was recommending mostly to Russian-speaking audience, in which Ilya Levitov was talking with the professed cheater about the way he cheats. And that's just a way, it's a very time-consuming way. It's impossible to do it if you have a camera in front of you. You cannot go around with your phone pointing at the position and trying to analyze afterwards. So that is out of the question. Players that cheat in Title Tuesday, and again, I do believe that there are players that cheat in Title Tuesdays, are not doing it in that manner, especially players that are on camera, as Hikaru is all the time. Hikaru streams pretty much every single game that he plays. He's not going to do it with his phone. He cannot do it via Chess Vision AI, via something connected to his computer, because this is already banned by chess.com. They've announced it, and also he has to share his screen. So that's out of the question as well. Again, my views personally have not changed. In the past week, there's been a lot of, once again, discussions and I'm sure you guys are probably up to date, or at least you're trying to stay up to date. I try to give you guys some sort of a timeline of what has happened and a review of the timeline of what has happened in the past week. So that's that. We'll see. Probably this is going to change in the next hour or so. We're going to have new blog posts from Vladimir and new responses from Hikaru and everybody else. In which camp are you? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to check once again our newly created store, c-squared.shop, and I'm sure you will find something that you might want to wear as well and show your love for chess. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next episode, hopefully with Fabi. Right now he's still playing the Sinquefield Cup. He's engaged in a very, very intriguing battle. In fact, as I am recording this episode against Firouzja, decent chances to win, very complicated battle. I don't know what the result is going to be at the end, but he's been very busy. He will be back after the competition ends. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Cheers.